Hey everybody, welcome to our Thursday night book club. I'm Elizabeth Heffner, Emerald Ambassador. I'm coming to you with chapter 8 of Developing the Leaders Around You. Such a great chapter. Again, this whole book is very good. I feel like we're getting a little bit of repetition going on now, which is also super nice because we want to have that repetition so that we can learn and really take things to heart. Chris Rosenkrantz was supposed to jump on, but she also has trouble with her internet when the weather is bad. So we will pray that she can hop on with us. I don't want her to miss out, and for all of you to miss out from hearing from her. So in the meantime, I'll do the best that I can to fill in the gaps of what I hadn't specifically prepared for, but I've listened to the chapter a few times and read through it. So talking about this, I really like this chapter because it talks about ourselves. It's really talking about coaching, and so coaching comes back on what we can do. And you know, so much of this business, this opportunity in life is about our impact that we have on others. So it's easy for me to say, like, well, I'm super frustrated that my kids aren't, you know, doing the dishes or picking up this or doing that, but I haven't necessarily specifically asked them, right? So it comes back to me and how I've been coaching them. Have I made the chore chart? Have I made the process legit for them to be able to do those things effectively? And so if the answer is no, then that comes back to my coaching ability. Thank you for showing me that. I love you. Go to bed. So just very reflective of that. And so, you know, a coach that chooses their players well is kind of the first point that it was talking about. And really talking about knowing that desire of those that we're working with, you know, being loyal to them so that they can be loyal to us, being trustworthy. This is so important, obviously. It talks about this in a couple points later too, just really being trustworthy. So do what you're going to do, say, you know, or do what you say you're going to do. Following up with those things is so important. Having a servant's heart, being discerning. So, you know, I find that connecting with people well has really led me to be as successful as I have, especially because, you know, everyone has life going on, but there are certain weeks and times and time frames where life is like heavy, right? I have a new join. She is a friend from high school. Her mom passed away when we were in high school. Her dad passed away a couple of years ago. I am just like, and then she started Plexus in the beginning of August. She's moving. She's a teacher, so she's going back to school, you know, before her kids. I am like, wow, go you. You know, this is the anniversary of her father's death had come up a week ago. So just a lot of things going on in her life. And she's like, oh, I kind of got out of the habit. I'm like, yeah, I can totally see why. You know, you have all these things going on in your life, all these memories popping up. Her mom, the anniversary of her mom's death was like in July. So this is all, you know, all memories coming up. And I was just like giving her so much props for even trying and starting Plexus at such a busy time in her life with moving. They were living in a camper momentarily, different things like that. And so really connecting with her and saying, you know what, that's okay. Just take your slim. We'll work on the habit later. And, you know, maybe using school as an opportunity to have that routine will be really beneficial. So really supporting her where she's at, discerning where she's at, and not just saying like, well, you still need to take your products. I don't know what your problem is, you know, just because life is happening. So did Chris pop on?
I am here.
Oh, hey, great.
Yay.
Okay, I was just talking about number one. I got to discerning.
Oh, awesome.
So I know you had prepared all of this. I was just kind of going off the cuff.
That is totally fine. Totally fine. No, sorry, you guys. We just, of course, the storm rolls through, like, right as we're supposed to start this call, and we live in the country, and yeah, instantly I lose all connections. So I'm on my phone, hopefully I don't like cut out over, but okay. So did you just go over number one,
Yep, the team coach chooses players well. I was talking about, identifying with our people, and I got through being discerning.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure you have lots that you can add to this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I guess so good. I mean, you could keep going too, but yeah, I loved that list, you guys. I didn't get into huge details with that, but I just love that list because he's talking about too, and maybe you already talked about this, Elizabeth, but you want to surround yourself with people who are going to pour into you and that you can pour into them, and so this list really resonated with me. Having a servant's heart, they carry a heavy load because of their high demand. So, they want to be able to be a part of that. So that's really important. Being a good thinker, that they have ideas and that they bring things to the table when you talk about stuff. Being a finisher, that they are kind of take over, that you really definitely want people on your team that are willing to exercise a little authority and kind of be a doer. I think we talked about that a lot when we first started. Like, when you have some in your team that you look for those people that are doers. They're confident and they go for it, and they don't really ask questions. They just go for it, and they don't, I guess, wary from doing new things. And then of course, for many of us, having a heart of God, that one of course spoke to me too. My faith in the Lord is really important. And so that's who I try to surround myself with, is people who love the Lord too. And, and even if that isn't the case, people who love life and love people, because we're all in a different place in our faith journey. And, I know a lot of people who maybe are not in the same place that I am, but they're so wonderful people that love life and love others and want to serve people. And so that's really important to have as part of those people surrounding you. So loved that list. Just so important. All right. Number 2 is a dream team coach constantly communicates the game plan. This one, I love the 5 points from Bear Bryant on page 146. You need to make sure that you're communicating your expectations. That's what I wrote on the side. I underlined all of the italicized words, but, and I could go over each one of those, but this is 10 points we got to go through, so I don't want to get too detailed. But really, you have to communicate your expectations, you guys. If you're not letting your team know what your expectations are and what Plexus is, and, when they join for the business, you need to let them know, okay, this is XYZ. We give people a list of, this is what you do when you join somebody, you add them to the team pages, you open a 3-way chat, get ready to check in on them every week. And then if you see that they're not doing that, then you follow up with them on that. So, I think we do this really well. But we have to make sure that we duplicate it and that we're teaching them to do that for their new joins. And we're just constantly duplicating that down, and then giving them that opportunity to do it. And then if they don't, correct them, instruct them, empower them, give them. And then when they do that, reward them, which again, I believe our team is really good at shouting people out, cheering people on. I love that. And many people that know me well and know my story, I lived and worked in a place of one. I kind of lived in my gym by myself, and, I didn't really have people cheering me on very often. Every once in a while I did, but that can go really, really far. It really affirms people, gives them warm fuzzies, and we want to be all about giving people warm fuzzies. So, if you're communicating, if you're not telling people, what they should be doing each and every step of the way, and that's actually coming down further down the line, but if you're not helping them out and walking them through that process and then giving them the reins, then they're not gonna go anywhere. They're not going to be able to execute the game plan, and grow. So super important that number 2 happens.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. And it's just I was sharing before you jumped on, that I like that this chapter really focuses on the coach, because, it's like my kids. Like, if I'm upset with them for not doing X, Y, and Z, but I haven't formulated that expectation, then it comes back on me, as the coach, that's so true.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly it.
Yeah. So number 3, the coach takes the time to huddle. I loved this. So it's kind of funny. I don't know if Melissa Allen is on, but she and I work in the same place where she's an OT, I'm a PT. And our boss has this like huddle term that she keeps throwing around over the last like year or so. And I'm like, what does she mean by huddle? Like, what is she talking about? Like, you know, whatever. Well, then when I read this part, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like, I love what he says about like basically coming together and saying, okay, who's here today to work? Who needs to do what? Where can we send everybody to get the list accomplished kind of thing? Like, okay, well, so-and-so went home sick. Okay, like this, how can we reconfigure our game plan here, you know? And so applying that though to our businesses is like super awesome, because I was like, I kind of got thinking, I'm like, this would be really fun to do like every couple of weeks with some of my leaders and just be like, hey guys, where are you at? How can we encourage one another? You know, maybe share like one tiny struggle. I wouldn't want it to turn into like a negative or a complaint fest, but just maybe if we're all coming together, then it would be more efficient in helping each other out and moving forward to that next level, but kind of applying that to the Plexus business kind of thing. But definitely we can huddle with our leaders, and this is only going to come out on the phone, right? Like, it's hard to get down to the nitty gritty on Messenger. It's definitely a good tool, and I definitely use that every day, every couple of days with a lot of my leaders. But then there's that time where you just have to be like, all right, I'm calling you, or call me, or whatever. And that works too. But it's really a way to come together, refocus, encourage that person. Like, nope, you've got this. This is normal in this business. Like, they just need to hear that. They need to hear that it's okay that we sometimes need to reconfigure and come up with a new approach or go back to the basics. Like we just talked about on Monday Night Call last week. You know, and so I think that's really, really good. So I loved that idea of the term huddle. Now that I have these more specific points, I was like, this is really good, you know. And just taking those opportunities, taking the opportunity to listen to our people, taking that opportunity to make those little adjustments and things like that. And then also, you know, I think sometimes too, our team needs to hear like, you know what? It's okay to like hide your phone and take a break for a minute. It's okay. You know, we shouldn't always be on. It's okay to rest. He talks later in this chapter about exhaustion. It's okay to rest so that we don't end up in that point, but definitely not turning into, oh, I need to rest. And then we're not working. Right. So as the leader, as the coach, it's important to help our people identify like when it's appropriate to rest and when it's more appropriate to push. So, and of course, relating that back to their goals. And then knowing what our team prefers, you know, knowing that what their love languages are, knowing their personality type, either their color or their Enneagram, so that we can best relate to them, so we can best encourage them, so that we can best pull them in and help them know that they are so, so valued. And I found this super interesting. Things that employees valued were appreciation for a job well done, a feeling that they're in on things, that they're a part of decision making, and that their management understands their personal problems. And what employers thought is that those 3 things would be like way down on the list, but that was completely opposite. And that he says it right here. The truth of the matter is that people don't produce because they aren't motivated or appreciated. Their leaders don't know what they want, and people often change jobs for personal reasons, not for professional ones. So that I think holds so, so true. It's crazy when you see somebody being successful with Plexus, but then they quit, right? Has everybody kind of seen that before? And we're like flabbergasted. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's issues with like the sponsor or something like that, but we definitely need to be aware, and we need to make sure that it would never be the case for us, that we always are this is a relationship business, and this is still a relationship business no matter how long we've been working with our leaders, to still help meet their basic needs of feeling appreciated and understood, and definitely reaching them in the way that they prefer. So definitely a good reminder and something for sure to keep in mind.
Good. Thank you. I love this chapter. It's really good. It was just a good reminder. It made me reflect a lot on what I was doing and what I need to improve on. And I even got to talk to a couple of my leaders this week about specific things with this stuff. So it was so good. All right, number 5 is Dream Team Coach excels in problem solving. I loved this, and you guys, I loved how that very first paragraph about we shouldn't be expecting perfection all the time, because this is not a perfect world. Stuff happens, and it's very important for a good leader to not get all up in arms if back office is messed up, or somebody's order doesn't go through, or if somebody doesn't get something in their order, if a code isn't working, I just found, like, through this whole thing, I've never gotten upset about any of that stuff. Stuff happens, and you can't get all tied up in all of that. So it's really important that a cool that you kind of think ahead, like, and just know in your mind that things are going to happen. It's not going to be perfect all the time. You're going to get a disgruntled customer, and you're going to get a disgruntled customer service or rep or whatever online that doesn't know what they're doing, or anything, or you're going to have a disgruntled team member who gets upset about something. Maybe you make a mistake, but we all have to know that we're not perfect, and we're for progress over perfection. Really, really important about, to not get all upset. So I love the whole positive attitude. If you can remain in positive through the tough stuff, and a lot of times turn somebody's situation around, a lot of it reflects on your reaction. So if I've had people come to me very upset about things, and then I have to sometimes take a deep breath and, okay, what am I going to think through what I'm going to say here, what I'm going to do, and then, address it. But if you have a knee-jerk reaction, and I've had those too, it's really easy to go there, but it's so important to take a deep breath, think through what's going to happen, what you need to do, and just know that we all are learning together. So super important. He does go through 3 different main categories of problems things. So I'm not going to go through that for sake of time, but that'd be really good ones to discuss and break out, I think. Okay, and then providing support needed for success. I think that's just another really obvious one, you guys. And I love this. The main thing I wrote down at the top is you're not anybody's boss. You are leading a volunteer army. We talk about that all the time for our team. And so, you got to make it fun and make it doable. Again, he talks about some of those things in here too. And he talks forms, rules. Which someday I read and I was like, well, no, we need systems. And I think you would agree with that. You've got to have systems in place. And I love our systems, but you have to give people a little bit of freedom too. And you have to allow them to have a little bit of creativity, guide them. You want to guide people where to go. You don't want to dictate, because if you're dictating everything and you're taking control all the time, they're actually never going to learn how to fly on their own either. And that's coming up too here towards the end. But it's so important to know that you're not even, and so just making sure that you're guiding and that you're sharing out. And I think when you hear how, what you said too earlier, just a little bit ago, Elizabeth, about finding what they prefer, you're hearing about their family life and different things going on in their life and what they are capable of right now, and not push people beyond what their limits are. That's so, so important. So, and then that you're rewarding people for the success when they do things that are good. You want to reward them, because then that's going to encourage them to keep going. They're going to have fun. Just a lot of really, I love that, because I just feel like he's talking to our team here, and we're doing a lot of these things really, really well. So kudos to everybody here. Way to go, you guys. We have amazing upline and sidelines and team members, and just a lot of people that I just feel like we modeled this really, really well. So that was my thoughts on those two.
Yes, for sure. And I love that he talks, I mean, basically being solution oriented, when we come in with something that's not ideal, like, okay, well, your code didn't work. All right, I'll call customer service tomorrow. I'll email them. I'll get a hold of the Jewel line, whatever. Like, no big deal. Let's just fix it. I've never had trouble with Plexus not fixing something, and just reassuring them of that. But just being solution oriented is so important just in life with our kids, like how many times your kids are like about something silly, and it's like, okay, but let's fix the problem here. What can we do to get over this and help each other? So as you can tell, that's what I've been doing a lot of lately because I've been talking about the kids. Anyway, then he talks, point 7, a dream team coach commands the respective players. And like commands is different than a demand, right? So I love that it's like someone that has a commanding presence, we're drawn into, right? We want to be a part of that. We want to follow that person because we like what we're seeing. And so that's our job. That's our job, to be in a commandable position and present ourselves in that manner, but not demand the respect of others. And, it talks about this in the 5 level, oh gosh, I'm going to mix up all the books. The blue ones, the 5 levels of leadership. Like, I'm a level 1 leader because I'm your sponsor, and then level 2 and level 3. And so this kind of goes along with that too. So yes, I'm your sponsor. Yes, I'm your coach, but that's only going to go so far. It's showing and leading and communicating and earning that respect that's going to take us all to the next level. So I need to read this Stephen Covey book. I have it on my shelf, but I have not read the whole book, but every quote that I read from there is so good. So you guys can read that quote. But basically it comes down to just being trustworthy, being caring. Again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We hear that over and over again, but it's so, so true. And then just making sure that people know that we're committed to them and the team, and that's going to earn that respect. It's going to command that respect. So super important. And then oh my goodness, the dream team coach does not treat everyone the same. And again, so true. Like when I started, I'm like, okay, well, just give me my checklist so I know what to do to help my people. And you just have to figure out where they're at, what level they're at, and help take them to the next level. Getting those videos into their hands that they need, getting the right books into their hands, getting them plugged into the resources, and so with new people, it's easy to say, hey, Jackie, I need you to set up this party and this IPA chat and do all of these things. Like, you already know what you're doing. You do them. That's easy, right? But it's not helping anybody else grow. And so giving people frequent and small opportunities and then varying those opportunities is going to help us to see where they're at, to see how they run with that opportunity, or if they're real timid. It just gives us more information so that we can help them continue to take them to the next level. And we definitely it's so encouraging when we can say, hey, I need you to set up the IPA chat. It's like, what? I get to set that up. Like, what do I do? And it's really helpful to help us build these people as leaders, to build our leaders as leaders. So really, really important. And kind of, it relates back to our kids. So giving them the playing time, giving them the resource, giving them the opportunity. And then when we see where they struggle, then we know where to come in and say, okay, let's do this. Like my 7-year-old, go figure, could vacuum the van out like a champ. He was out there forever. Now he was vacuuming his face, and he was vacuuming up one straw wrapper for forever. But he also really got into all the cracks and crevices of the van too, where I'm thinking my 11-year-old, she should be able to vacuum the van. She's 11. That's easy. It's not hard. She's out there like, I'm done, like, go figure. So again, just looking at where people are, not making preconceived assumptions about them, helping them to see how to do things in that duplicated fashion, but taking them to the next level. So definitely can't treat anybody the same. And then I do love this. So I guess I kind of said it, but giving frequent and small opportunities, varying the opportunities as much as possible. And then we can kind of determine that caliber of play, and that'll show us just how to respond. I guess I said all of that. I'm sorry. I underlined it. Like, I got to say this, but I basically did. So anyway, that's what I have for that.
So good. I love it. I love how you're using this as like parenting guide too.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's so true.
It is. It's so good. Okay. Last two, and then we're going to break off, you guys. It's already 10 o'clock, so we've got to get going here. Okay. So Dream Team Coach continues to win. And I read that and I was like, ooh, ouch. Okay. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. But he does say that in there. He's like, it's something you can get the win, but it's more difficult to continue to win. You know, and that's okay. So we have to recognize that. And so, you know, just looking at, I love how he gives the suggestions, you know, okay, so we're looking at to win. So these are the things that we need to do, like work on specific skills. If there's things that need to be run, find those things. What are we struggling in? If we're not winning, let's work on those skills and be specific. Make a change. Don't be afraid to change things up. You know, like even talking about our own personal, like I haven't gotten a join in a while. What am I doing wrong? Well, maybe it's something that I'm not messaging things right. Maybe I haven't built a good enough relationship. And, you know, there's just all kinds of things we can do, but be willing to change up what you're doing if something's not working. And even within the team too. Reward the unrewarded, because it's always important to recognize everybody. And again, I feel like our team really does that well and has awesome community, you know, and then, you know, transferring the burden. So, you know, if people are working, doing extra things, maybe pass those tasks along, or if they're doing a lot of extra stuff, you know, do things together. I always think don't pile it all on the same people, because that can definitely burn people out. And I love how they say, don't dwell on yesterday's victory. You know, just keep looking ahead, cheer for it, celebrate the victories. But, you know, last month was an awesome month. We want to do that again, you know, so let's cheer each other on. But yeah, we definitely want to keep going, and we don't want to stop that momentum. We want to keep it up. So sometimes we tend to step back and be like, phew, okay, that was a crazy month. I need to catch my breath for a little bit. And you know what? That's kind of when things start to fall by the wayside. We want to keep things going. And I'm preaching to myself too, because I've definitely done that. But yeah, we don't want to do that. And I've seen when we do step back or slow down or whatever, take that. If you have goals, you want to keep striving for those goals, and it's just going to help everybody win. Okay. I'm going to jump to 10, and yes, this really does kind of touch on what you're talking about with the, you know, not treating everyone the same. Pretty much kind of the same thing, really. It's, you know, everybody's going to come in at different places. And, you know, when you get a new join that's ready to share, you're going to be stuck with that and do a lot of practicing, you know, and then somebody who is catch on, let them go a little bit, and you're going to keep checking in on them, of course. And I just remember back in the day, I remember Sal would come in and I would do something or see something like that. She would pop into like my three-way with Sue and me and her, and she would just say, hey, that was awesome, you did a great job, but maybe say this instead next time, or do this instead. So you're doing coaching a little there. You're letting them take things, but you're doing some more just guidance, and change up what they did or give them suggestions. You're coaching them along. And then always giving support, always. But usually when you start getting those people that start to flag, you're supporting. They're doing a great job. There's not a lot of coaching that's happening, and you're just continuing to support. And then the delegating part was like, this is where you have leaders that are ready to go, and you're starting to just share, you know what, I think you can rock this, you take this over, and they do it, and they're ready. So that just really explained a lot of the levels and stages of where we go.
Yes, for
yeah.
sure.
All right. Do you think you guys, we need to jump off? We're not going to go over the delegation work. So let's jump off and spend a few minutes with our teams. My team's going to jump off. I think Sarah's got a different link. So if you guys want to,
I think we're,
that and
Chris, I think we're just going to be good.
Oh, cool. Let's stay here. I missed that part. Awesome.
Rochelle's online is staying on. So Rochelle's people, my people are staying on. I mean, I think that because everyone's doing Fallon's bachelorette party. So if you're on,
that's true.
Just stay on.
Stay on, everybody. Don't leave.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, do we want to open it up? Does anybody have, I wasn't reading all the comments, but does anybody want to share any thoughts? Anybody? I'm going through some of the comments here.
Yeah. Bueller.
I'm glad we didn't get off, because if we would have, I would have lost it.
I like that on page 160, he talks about personal enjoyment of the task. You know, like we want people to stay doing the things that they love doing. Like if they love leading the IPA chat, or if they love setting up Facebook groups or something like for events, if they love doing the events, if they love doing lives, if they love doing news, whatever it is. But we also want to, you know, challenge them too. So it's kind of this balance of doing the things that they still like to do with an appropriate challenge to kind of go coincide with it. And again, this is so important in so many areas of our lives. Like at work, we have therapists that prefer different floors, different levels of patient care, different levels of sickness, neuro conditions, orthopedic conditions, cardiac conditions, whatever. And so our manager kind of keeps people in like their little floor that they prefer. And my point is that you're a therapist. Like you should be able to go anywhere. You should never, especially in a hospital setting, you really want to be well-rounded, because what if you ever needed to switch jobs, right? Like you would want to be prepared to work at any hospital in any hospital setting or something like that. And so kind of not making people miserable of doing things that they don't enjoy doing. Like if people really, really don't like making videos, then you're not going to have them make 6 videos a week, you know, but pulling them in and encouraging and helping them grow in that area is so important to our leadership, I think. Just so important. But again, you don't want to like give them so much to do that they don't enjoy, that then they're not enjoying any part of the business. So honing in on working to our strengths, you know, but still challenging in our weaknesses.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good thoughts.
Come on, y'all, you know I can talk. Start calling names.
All right. If I break up, my internet is crazy. I like on page 161 about the lack of time. Not having enough time to teach another person to do a job is probably the most common reason people give for not delegating. And then not delegating is probably the most common reason people don't have enough time. I mean, like you were saying before, Elizabeth, how guilty are we of instead of having our kids help with the laundry or do the dishes, we just do it for them because we think we're saving time because we don't feel like having to teach them how to do it and go through all of it. but then we gripe because we don't have the time to do the things. So it's like, wait a minute, okay, you know what? Is it done 100% perfect or the way that we want them to? But if we don't give people the opportunity to learn and grow, then we can't complain when we don't have the time to do the things that we want to do because we haven't given others the opportunity to be able to do the things. So
Exactly.
I kind of like that part.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. And so true. Thank you, Jackie. That is spot on. And that's like,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just thinking about my own situations too, that as you get busier, and they always talk about, you know, getting help, you know, getting a house cleaner and other, you know, like just different things that, okay, can I pay somebody else to, oh, my friend Janelle, I can't see who's all on right now, but she and I had this conversation. Could I pay like some high school kid to paint my deck so I don't have to, you know, like, because that's very time consuming. It took me 2 hours to do a very small section because it's time consuming. So like, you know, just that type of stuff is, and that's outside of like team things, but you know, even thinking about your own team stuff, what can you do to pass on things to somebody else, you know, that will save you time, you know, like you said too, Elizabeth, if somebody else has gifts and they love to like set up events or do graphics. Jamie's not on, but she's our graphic queen. But sometimes I'm like, I feel so bad for her. I'm like, oh, that girl, she spends so much time on graphics, but she loves it and she has a gift. I can't do that. Mine won't look pretty, but like, you know, so, but just, yeah, if there's other people who can do some of those tasks, that can really take a lot off your plate and free you up for, so other important leadership things that you can do, or things that'll help you grow your business. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is so true. Like teaching our kids how to do the laundry and dishes, and clean the bathroom is going to give us more time to work on our business. So this book is not, I mean, it is very relatable to life, our children, our coworkers. I mean, some husbands need a little more guidance on doing some household tasks or whatever, you know? And so it's just so true, like putting in that time in the forefront so that you get the payoff. And my kids, I used to give them a list, like each kid had a little sticky note with their jobs, and they would grumble and complain. I'm like, what? You know, I'm thinking this is great. Well, they do so much better if I give them a piece of paper that has all of the jobs listed, and then they divide them up themselves. So kind of working in those things that they enjoy doing. Like I said, with the vacuuming, like go figure, the 7-year-old who usually is he gets very caught up in what he's doing that he doesn't like to move on to the next thing. So if he's dusting, he just wants to dust and dust and dust and dust. Well, it worked with the vacuuming of the van, right? So just funny. It's just funny how figuring that out with our kids and figuring that out with our people is so valuable. So.
Well, and I found too, I have this secret hidden red who's coming out. She we've been giving her tasks, and it's really funny because she just keeps coming up with more things that she's doing. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, these parties are my jam. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it's so amazing to see these people grow. It's just really amazing. So giving people the wings to do that, because I thought that me doing everything for people was helping them, but I'm not. And me saying, okay, you're going to do this, you know, I'm empowering you to do this, and then letting them fly, kind of like, sorry, my cuckoo clock's going to go, it's off. You know, Elizabeth's like, okay, you're doing this and you're doing that. And I'm like, you want me to do what? And now it's like no big deal, you know? So it's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's fun.
I'm on mute.
I think it's common to struggle with the, like, I can do it best mindset. Well, I can do it the best, so I just need to do it. And you can read through there, but that is definitely a fine line. And it's funny because I'm always like, the kids need to clean up this thing that they messed up. And my husband's like, no, it's bedtime. And I'm like, no, they need to do this. And he's like, I'll just do it because I'd rather they go to bed, you know, like that sort of thing. And so it's kind of interesting to see that flip, because usually I'm the one that's like, I'm the only one that can do this the best. And so when it comes to something like getting the kids to do something, but it's an inconvenient time, my husband's like, no, I'll do it. Like, okay. So it's pretty funny. But anyway, if you guys haven't taken this quiz that starts on 163, I definitely encourage you to do so. I don't think that we need to read through all those questions and stuff, but definitely worth your time to go through that. And it even talks about the steps for delegation on 162 too. So definitely worth doing. Okay, Elizabeth Lesperance, I have got to tell you, coats shoes. This is the trick. If you have young children or you want to pass this on to your friends with young children, when they don't put their shoes, coats, pajamas, towels, whatever, you have them redress in whatever. So you have them put their coat, shoes, backpacks, lunch bags back on, go outside, pretend like they just got out of the car or the bus or wherever, and you have them come in and take everything off and put it away immediately where it goes. Because we are not training them to come in, dump their stuff all over the house, and then go back and pick it all up and put it away. We want them to come into the house and take care of it properly the first time. So making them redo it and put everything back on, especially in the winter when they're wearing snow pants and boots and multiple things, they will only do that about 2 times before they're like, fine, I'll take care of it in the first place. Huge pain in the butt on our part to do that a few times, but huge payoff too. So I've told that to a few friends and they're like, oh my gosh, it worked. It's awesome. Sometimes they need a little booster there, refresher, but does it work for husbands? I'll try if you try, Jackie. We can do this together. They probably would do it if they knew they were in competition with one another.
So funny. Oh my word, that was awesome. That's so good. I can honestly say I have never done that, but I think I'm going to do that with my 8-year-old tomorrow.
I mean, you have to give them the warning, like, okay, you know, like in the morning, when you come home this afternoon, where does your coat go, your shoes go, your whatever. I mean, I feel like it's fair to give them that warning. And then they'll, I know, I hang up my coat, I put my shoes in the basket, whatever. And then they come in and they don't do it. Because that's what we do. Well, now pick up your stuff and put it away, but making them do it right in the first place. And this comes back down even to helping people know how to set up a 3-way chat. Helping people know how to send appropriate information. You know, okay, well, show me what you're doing. Send me screenshots. What objections are you getting? Like taking people back and then going, okay, let's fine tune what you're doing. Because I know your heart is in the right place. I know you're wanting to help people, but they're not maybe receiving it the best. And so let's fine tune what you're saying and what process you're going through in order to be more successful. So taking the time and really backing up the train and going back to that beginning is so valuable.
Yes. Love it. That's awesome.
Cool.
So
All right.
good.
You guys got anything else? It's a quiet bunch. You Michigan Jewels are quiet. You Michigan people. Not us Michigan people. You Michigan people.
I feel like I always do all the talking.
I'm not a jewel.
I hear from other people, so.
So you do talk a lot. I love it though. So good. Oh, that's fun that we stayed on tonight. I love it. So good. We probably got a little chatty there, Elizabeth, but it was chock full of stuff. I don't know how you can condense that.
Yeah, that's a huge chapter, and you guys did an awesome job hitting it all. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a big chapter. Last week's chapter was so short, and this
It was. I was kind of secretly glad I had last week's chapter. No, this was good.
I love it.
Good job, ladies.
It It was a good chapter. I really feel like you guys, I don't know, reading through this, it made me double check myself. Definitely. I was like, okay, there's a couple things that I need to make sure that I'm visiting with my leaders and make sure I'm doing. But you guys, our team rocks. Like, seriously rocks. I mean, I don't know how many of you were going through this going, wow, we do that. We do that. Like, we do that. I was just so, I don't know. We're just so good. We got it down. So thankful for an awesome upline and supportive sponsors and sidelines and just people that we get to learn from. It's so good. And books like this that can help us work on things we need to work on. So thanks for coming on, you guys.
Yes, thanks for joining. We're so glad you were here.
I'm glad I could get on too.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's,
All right.
it's definitely thunderstorming over here too.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's made its way. It came from us to you. So, all right, guys. Thanks for a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.